Hey, Phil here from Euroheat. Now if you're looking to install an insulated heated screed system, that's fantastic. It's the best way to heat your floors. But make sure that you get your entire floor surface insulated and not just parts. And let me tell you why. So often on floor heating companies' websites or Instagrams or Facebook pages, you'll see that they'll post a photo of one of their installations. And one of the most common things you'll see is that they'll leave out bits of this thermal insulation. So here we're at a project and we're standing crouching in the future kitchen. And so to my left here, this is where there is going to be an island bench, and to the right is where there's going to be cupboards and another bench top and ovens and all the kitchen gear. And so what you'll see on a lot of floor heating companies' websites and Instagram pages is that in those areas where they're going to have this built-in furniture, or where it might be not heated for a particular reason, they'll also leave out the thermal insulation, because to them that's money. That's more money in their pocket. They'll save 50, 100 bucks, 200 bucks for every little bit of section that they leave uninsulated. But that is detrimental to you for two reasons. The first one is that you actually get increased energy wastage. So let's imagine here you have this section heated, over there is not heated, but the energy just doesn't just travel up, it wants to travel in all directions. So we've got the thermal insulation below to stop it traveling down, but if we imagine that over here this insulation was left out and that the screed continues over there, which it will, what will happen is the energy will also find its way across and then down into the structure below, meaning that you're losing heat out of the room or out of the building, and you're heating up parts of the building which don't need to be heated, and it's costing you money. And the second reason is that it can actually end up in cracks in your tiles or in your floor finish. And why that is if you imagine here again that we don't have the thermal insulation, that means just underneath we have a hard concrete surface that's just the slab below. And over here we've got the polystyrene. And this insulation is a tiny bit compressible. So if you put weight on it, it compresses a little bit. So what that means is if you leave it out over here, but here you do have it, if you apply load or some weight to this particular section, the insulation here compresses a tiny little bit. It has a little bit of give, and that's fine. But over here, because the screed is on a solid background on that slab below, it's got nowhere to compress as well. So that means here it doesn't move, but here it might compress 0.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter, depends on your thermal insulation and the thickness. But if you apply that load here, where there is not the thermal insulation and there is the thermal insulation here, what will actually happen is you'll develop crack lines here. Because here the screed wants to move, and it can move, and here it can't move. So you end up with a crack, and that becomes visible through your marble or your stone or your tiles or your floor finish in general. So make sure that if you're installing an insulated screed floor heating system, that the thermal insulation covers your entire floor area, not just the parts where you have the pipes. And if you do this, then you'll reduce your energy losses and you'll reduce any risk of cracks in the floor finish in the future. At Euroheat, we've been installing heated insulated screeds for almost 30 years. So if you would like some expert advice or help with your project, go to our website, find our email address, and shoot through an email with the information on your project, what you'd like to achieve, and a full set of plans so that we get a good idea of your project. And then we can get back to you with whether how best or if we can help you at all.